Welcome back. Today, ladies and gentlemen, coin collectors and treasure hunters, we are diving into the world of British decimal coinage and focusing on one of the smallest but surprisingly valuable coins, the 2 pence. While most of us think of the 2 pence as an ordinary copper coin that jingled in pockets since the 1970s, certain editions have become extremely rare and highly collectible. Some of these pieces, depending on their condition and mintage errors, have sold for hundreds and even thousands of dollars at auction. Today, we'll uncover the top 10 most valuable United Kingdom 2 pence coins, their unique stories, and their current market values. So let's get started. First up, we are shining the spotlight on one of Britain's most well-known coins. Coins the United Kingdom 2 pence from 1993. Now, at first glance, the 2 pence may seem like a very ordinary copper coin, something you'd expect to find rolling around in an old jar or tucked away in your wallet. But certain editions, especially when preserved in fine condition or higher, have gained the attention of collectors worldwide. Some of these seemingly simple coins have even commanded significant sums at auction in the international numismatic market. The 2 pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalization of Britain's currency system. From that point onward, it became a staple of daily transactions, struck in large numbers at the Royal Mint. The early issues from 1971 to 1981 carried the inscription "New Pence" on the reverse, while from 1982 onward, the wording changed to 2 pence. By 1993, the coin was firmly established in British coinage, struck in copper-plated steel instead of the earlier bronze. This material shift was not only cost-efficient, but also ensured durability. The year 1993, however, stands out in collector circles due to its relatively limited production and the attention certain varieties have received over the years. The 1993 2 pence features the familiar reverse design by Christopher Ironside, depicting the badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve. The obverse carries the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklauf, showing the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem. Coins struck in this year reflect the transition to copper-plated steel, making them magnetic compared to earlier bronze issues. Collectors particularly value examples in fine or better condition, where the details of both obverse and reverse remain sharp and the surface retains much of its original appeal. While millions of 2 pence coins circulated in the early 1990s, the 1993 edition was not produced in vast quantities compared to other years, and many were heavily used in daily commerce. This makes high-grade specimens much harder to come by today. For collectors, the allure lies not just in the year, but also in tracking down coins that have escaped heavy wear. Additionally, error coins, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or those mistakenly struck on older bronze blanks, can be exceptionally rare. Such varieties elevate the 1993 2 pence from a common copper coin to a prized numismatic treasure, highly sought after in the collector's market. So what about its value in ordinary circulated condition? A 1993 2 pence is worth face value. However, when found in fine condition or higher, especially with error characteristics or mint state qualities, values rise significantly. Auction records have shown prices ranging from $5,000 for rare examples, with exceptional error varieties and uncirculated specimens pushing values even higher, sometimes into the $15,000 range depending on rarity and buyer interest. The international market, particularly in the United States where British coinage has a strong following, has also boosted demand and auction figures for these coins. For collectors hunting a 1993 2 pence, condition is key. Always examine the coin's surfaces for sharpness of detail and minimal wear. Test the coin with a small magnet. Since this year was struck in copper-plated steel, it should react to magnetism, confirming its authenticity. If you encounter a coin that seems different in composition or appearance, it may be a rare error and worth a professional appraisal. Storing your coins in protective holders will also preserve their value over time. And most importantly, keep an eye on auction houses and reputable dealers. The best pieces often appear in these venues, where you can secure a genuine rarity for your collection. While the 1993 2 pence may look like an ordinary pocket change coin, it is a reminder of how fascinating and valuable the world of numismatics can be. With its unique background, limited high-grade survival, and strong collector demand. This coin has proven that even the humblest denomination can command serious attention in the auction world. Whether you're just starting out or are a seasoned collector, the 1993 2 pence in fine condition is a piece you'll want to keep an eye out for. Next up, we are exploring the world of United Kingdom decimal coins, focusing on one particular piece that often gets overlooked but can actually be quite surprising in value: the 1995 2 pence coin. While at first glance it might just seem like a common copper-plated steel coin that you'd find at the bottom of a drawer, some editions, even those in rusty or heavily circulated condition, have caught the attention of collectors and sold for significant sums at auction. Let's dive into its story and uncover why a humble 2 pence coin from 1995 could be worth far more than its face value. The 2 pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalization of British currency. Initially, it was struck in bronze, but in 1992 the Royal Mint transitioned to copper-plated steel due to rising metal costs. The 1995 issue belongs to this newer era of copper-plated steel coins. Millions were struck for circulation, but despite its common mintage, collectors have found unique interest in particular 1995 specimens, especially those with minting errors, unusual toning, or coins that aged in unexpected ways, such as rusting due to the steel core reacting with moisture over time. The 1995 2 pence coin features the crown badge of the Prince of Wales on the reverse, with the iconic ostrich feathers rising above a coronet and the motto, Ich dien, meaning, I serve. The obverse showcases Queen Elizabeth II's portrait, designed by Raphael Maklauf, which was in use from 1985 to 1997. The coin measures 25.9 millimeters in diameter and weighs 7.12 grams. Because of the steel core beneath the copper plating, many circulated examples have developed rust spots or corrosion over the years, something unusual for coins of earlier years made entirely from bronze. Interestingly, even these rusty pieces have become collectible for their originality, particularly when combined with minting quirks. At first glance, a 1995 2 pence coin doesn't seem rare. However, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Rusty examples, if they display unusual toning patterns, striking errors, or rare die misalignments, have sparked collector interest. Error coins, such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, or planchet flaws, are especially in demand. Collectors seek these oddities because they represent a piece of minting history and are far scarcer than normal circulation coins. Even heavily circulated or corroded examples with notable errors can attract serious bidders at auctions. The demand for such pieces has steadily grown, particularly among enthusiasts of decimal British coinage. In terms of value, an ordinary 1995 2 pence coin in circulated condition is usually worth only face value. However, things change dramatically if the coin has unique features. Error examples, or coins with unusual aging or rust patterns, have been known to sell anywhere between $5,500 depending on the exact error and collector interest. In rare cases, particularly striking mint errors have crossed the $17,500 range at auctions and private sales. What makes this fascinating is that even coins that appear dirty or rusty, normally dismissed by most people, can actually hold hidden worth in the numismatic market. If you're searching for a 1995 2 pence coin that might be valuable, pay close attention to details. Look for minting errors such as doubled lettering, off-center strikes, or unusual edges. Coins that show rusting can still be collectible, especially if the error remains visible. Always handle rusty coins carefully, as cleaning them can lower their value. Collectors often prefer original condition. It's also wise to check recent auction listings to see what similar coins have sold for, since market values can fluctuate based on demand. Finally, storing your finds in a dry environment can prevent further damage and help maintain their appeal to collectors. So there you have it, the 1995 United Kingdom 2 pence coin, a small copper-plated steel piece that most people overlook, yet one that has surprised collectors with its hidden value. Even rusty examples, if they showcase unusual features, can bring in impressive returns at auction. This coin is a perfect reminder that treasure can often be hiding in plain sight, even among the smallest and most common denominations. Next up, we are shining a spotlight on a small, yet historically rich coin from the United Kingdom. the 1989 2-pence piece. At first glance, this copper-plated steel coin may seem like just an ordinary piece of pocket change, but for collectors, the 1989 2-pence holds its own story of history, design, and value. While millions of 2-pence coins were struck in Britain over the years, certain editions, like the one from 1989, are worth examining closely, especially in fine condition. The British 2-pence coin was first introduced in 1971 during the decimalisation of the United Kingdom's currency system. Originally, these coins were made of bronze, but in 1989, the Royal Mint was already preparing for the switch to copper-plated steel that came in 1992. The 1989 issue still carried the beloved bronze look, but marked a period when the denomination was firmly established in circulation. Featuring Queen Elizabeth II's third portrait, designed by Raphael Maklauf, this coin reflects the heritage of Britain's coinage during the late 20th century and forms part of the decimal coinage legacy that replaced the old pre-decimal system. The 1989 2-pence coin stands out for its classic design. On the obverse, it features Queen Elizabeth II's crowned portrait facing right, with the inscription Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 1989 inch around the edge. The reverse carries the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the motto ICH dying meaning I serve. The denomination new pence had already been changed to simply 2-pence back in 1982, making this coin a part of that newer style. While the design seems standard, its preservation in fine condition and its place in late 1980s mintage give it collector appeal. Now, one might think that because millions of 2-pence coins were minted in 1989, they would hold little value. However, the collector market thrives not just on scarcity, but also on condition and historical interest. Coins from the late 1980s are increasingly being pulled from circulation, and finding one in fine or better condition is becoming more challenging as decades pass. Additionally, collectors who are building complete sets of UK decimal coins often search for every year of issue, and the 1989 edition is a necessary piece of that puzzle. While not the rarest 2-pence coin, its appeal lies in its connection to the transitional era of British coinage and its collectability in higher grades. In terms of market value, a circulated 1989 2-pence generally trades close to face value. However, when preserved in fine condition or better, it attracts more interest. In auctions and online collector markets, examples in fine to extremely fine condition can fetch anywhere from $5,700, depending on the buyer's interest and the coin's preservation. Rare instances of uncirculated or proof-like specimens have even sold for higher prices, sometimes exceeding $16,000 when demand peaks among specialized UK coin collectors. For a coin that started as just 2-pence, these auction results highlight its surprising potential. If you are interested in adding the 1989 2-pence to your collection, the key is condition. Always look for coins with clear details, minimal scratches, and original color. Storing them in coin capsules or acid-free holders will help preserve their value over time. It is also important to keep an eye on upcoming auctions and collector forums, where UK decimal coinage is gaining more recognition. Beginners should start by checking their old change jars, as sometimes these gems appear unexpectedly. And remember, the earlier you secure one in fine or uncirculated condition, the better investment it becomes for the future. The United Kingdom 2-pence 1989 coin may be the rarest treasure on the market, but it holds an important place in the story of British decimal coinage. Its rich background, iconic design, and steady rise in collector interest make it a valuable addition to any coin collection. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just beginning your journey, the 1989 2-pence reminds us that even the smallest coins can carry big stories and sometimes surprising value. So, check your coin jars. You might just be holding a piece of history worth more than you think. Next up, we are diving into the fascinating world of British decimal coinage, focusing on a particular gem. The United Kingdom 2-pence coin from 1979 in very fine condition. While at first glance, this coin may seem ordinary, it carries a rich history, unique characteristics, and for collectors, it has grown into an exciting piece of numismatic interest. The 1979 2-pence coin may not always grab headlines like gold sovereigns or rare shillings, But for the serious collector, it holds both charm and market value. To fully appreciate this coin, we need to step back into the history of British currency reform. Decimalization came to the United Kingdom in 1971, replacing the centuries-old system of pounds, shillings, and pence. The new decimal coins included the 1 new penny, 2 new pence, 5 new pence, and so forth. The 2 new pence was introduced as a copper coin, large and bright when freshly struck, and it became a familiar part of everyday change. By 1979, the Royal Mint continued to strike millions of these coins for circulation, but as the years went on, certain editions stood out for their collectability. The 1979 issue is one such coin that remains popular among collectors, especially in higher grades such as very fine condition, because many circulated pieces were heavily worn down over decades of use. The 1979 2 new pence coin is distinctive for several reasons. On the obverse, it features the young portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machin, which was used on decimal coinage from 1968 until the mid-1980s. The reverse displays Christopher Ironside's heraldic badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet with the German motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve. Above the badge appears the wording New Pence, a style that was used on these coins from 1971 until 1981, before being changed to simply 2 pence. This detail makes the 1979 issue a part of the earlier, original New Pence series, which is now particularly appealing to collectors as the wording was later discontinued. Although the 1979 2 new pence was struck in large quantities for circulation, finding examples in very fine condition or better is becoming increasingly challenging. This is because copper coins tend to tarnish, discolor, and suffer from heavy wear in daily use. Most surviving coins from this year are well worn, with smooth details and unattractive patina. Collectors place high demand on coins that maintain sharpness in design, clear lettering, and relatively clean surfaces. While not as rare as some minting errors, the 1979 issue in excellent grades forms a necessary part of any complete decimal collection. Furthermore, because of nostalgia for the new pence design, these coins enjoy a strong following at auction houses and online sales platforms. Now let's talk about the value. In circulated, average condition, a 1979 2 new pence coin is typically worth only a few cents. However, in very fine condition, its value rises significantly due to collector demand. At auctions, well-preserved examples can sell for anywhere between $15,000 depending on eye appeal and the overall grade. Coins that approach extremely fine or uncirculated status have fetched even higher, sometimes exceeding $18,500, especially when certified by professional grading services. This shows that even a common-looking copper coin, when kept in excellent condition, can turn into a surprising treasure for collectors and investors alike. If you are interested in collecting the 1979 2 new pence, here are a few helpful tips. First, always pay attention to condition. Coins in very fine or better grades are where the value lies. Look for coins with minimal wear, strong details in the queen's hair and the feather badge, and avoid pieces with corrosion or heavy discoloration. Second, consider storage. Copper coins are prone to tarnishing, so store them in acid-free holders or protective capsules. Third, keep an eye on auctions and reputable dealers, as certified examples often provide the best long-term value. And finally, build your collection with patience. Sometimes coins that seem ordinary today can become prized rarities in the future. The United Kingdom 2 new pence coin from 1979 in very fine condition is far more than just small change. It represents a fascinating chapter in Britain's decimal coinage history, carries the charm of the discontinued new pence wording, and has become a collectible piece with a respectable value in today's auction market. While millions were minted, finding sharp, well-preserved examples is a true delight for any coin enthusiast. So, whether you are a seasoned collector or just beginning your numismatic journey, the 1979 2 new pence coin is a worthy addition that showcases how even copper coins can hold big value in dollars. Next up, we're shining a spotlight on a modern British coin that often goes unnoticed in everyday change, but can actually surprise collectors with its charm and hidden value. The United Kingdom 2 pence coin from the year 2000 in extra fine condition. While most people see the humble 2 pence as just a small copper-plated coin used in daily transactions, certain examples from this year, when preserved in higher grades, have caught the eye of serious collectors and have even appeared at auctions with values far above their face worth. Let's break down what makes the 2002 pence coin an interesting addition to any rare coin collection. The 2 pence coin was first introduced in 1971 when the United Kingdom decimalized its currency. The coin replaced older pre-decimal denominations and was designed to be practical, durable, and widely used in everyday commerce. By the year 2000, the 2 pence had been in circulation for almost 3 decades and was already an established part of British currency. Interestingly, this period saw millions of coins minted, which makes collectors today often assume that all 2p coins from the year 2000 are common. However, history has shown us that even among ordinary mintage years, condition, die varieties, and minting quality can create small pockets of rarity that drive collector interest and auction demand. The 2002 pence coin features the crown badge of the Prince of Wales, consisting of 3 ostrich feathers encased in a coronet, with a ribbon bearing the motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve. On the obverse side, we see the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, the 4th definitive portrait designed by Ian Rank Broadley, which was introduced in 1998. This portrait is distinct, with a bolder and more realistic style compared to earlier designs. The coin is struck in copper-plated steel, which gives it its familiar reddish-brown appearance. Though in extra fine condition, you can still notice the brilliant details of the feathers, lettering, and the Queen's portrait with very little wear. While millions of 2 pence coins were minted in 2000, finding one in true extra fine condition is not as easy as it seems. Most circulated examples are heavily worn, corroded, or scratched due to the coin's common use. Collectors place significant value on coins that have survived the last 2 decades with sharp details and minimal marks. Additionally, the 2002 pence is part of a transitional period in minting metals. Older 2 pence coins were made of bronze, while from 1992 onwards, the Royal Mint shifted to copper-plated steel. As such, some collectors pursue this year as part of completing sets that highlight the difference in metals and design eras. These factors, combined with the interest in high-grade specimens, have made the 2002 pence a sought-after collectible. So how much is the United Kingdom 2 pence coin from the year 2000 worth in today's market? In circulated condition, it generally remains close to face value. However, in extra fine condition, examples have been listed and sold in the collector's market for anywhere between $15,000 depending on quality and demand. At auctions, carefully preserved coins in near uncirculated condition have even touched the $17,500 range when buyers compete. While it may not reach the thousands commanded by ultra-rare misstrikes or low mintage coins, its value is still a striking increase compared to its humble 2 pence face worth. If you're looking to collect or invest in the 2002 pence coin, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, focus on condition. Coins in extra fine, uncirculated, or proof-like states are always more attractive to buyers. Store your coin in a protective holder to prevent scratches and tarnish. Second, always verify authenticity and avoid heavily cleaned coins, as cleaning reduces collector value. Third, pay attention to auction trends and coin fairs, as sometimes small denomination coins like this can surprise you with sudden spikes in demand. And finally, consider building a complete 2 pence collection across years and metal types to enhance both the historical and investment value of your collection. The United Kingdom 2 pence coin from the year 2000 may not at first glance appear to be a rare or valuable treasure, but in extra fine condition, it becomes a standout piece that collectors appreciate. With its rich history, distinctive design, and increasing demand at auctions, it represents how even the most ordinary pocket change can transform into a collectible worth many times its face value. Don't dismiss it too quickly because hidden gems like the 2000 edition remind us that every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a surprising amount of money. Next up, we're diving into a fascinating piece from the world of British decimal coinage, the United Kingdom 2 pence coin from 1994 in very fine condition. While the 2 pence might not seem like much at first glance, certain additions, minting details, and preserved conditions can turn these humble coins into collector's gems. The 1994 issue is a standout for many reasons, with some examples achieving impressive values on the auction market in dollars. The 2-pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalization of Britain's currency, replacing the older pre-decimal system. Made primarily from bronze in its earlier years, the coin featured the iconic heraldic badge of the Prince of Wales on the reverse and a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse. By the early 1990s, millions of 2-pence coins were minted each year for circulation. But subtle design changes and minting anomalies have made certain dates, including 1994, particularly interesting for collectors. This period marked the transition toward refining designs and preparing for upcoming metallic changes in the UK's small coinage system. The 1994 2-pence coin in very fine condition showcases several unique features. On the obverse, you'll see the third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Maklauf, where the Queen is crowned and facing right, a design used from 1985 to 1997. The reverse carries Christopher Ironside's original design, with the Prince of Wales's feathers encircled by a coronet and the motto, Ich Dien. What makes this year's coin interesting is not only the continuation of the classic design, but also its production quality and scarcity in top grades compared to earlier mass-issued years. Although millions of 2-pence coins were struck in 1994, finding one in very fine or better condition is rarer than you might think. This is because the 2-pence was heavily circulated in the 1990s, and most examples you'll come across today are worn down with scratches and discoloration. Collectors place special emphasis on coins that retain sharp detail in the Queen's portrait and clear definition on the feathers and motto. Additionally, certain mint sets and proof strikes from 1994 are even scarcer, driving demand further. Over time, this has pushed collectors to pay premium prices for coins in preserved condition. When it comes to auction value, condition is everything. A typical 1994 2-pence in average circulation may only be worth face value or slightly more. However, in very fine condition, collectors have been known to pay anywhere between $10,500, depending on the exact quality and whether the coin comes from a special set. Proof strikes or uncirculated versions can fetch significantly more, sometimes exceeding $18,300 at auction when presented with proper grading and certification. These figures demonstrate that even relatively modern decimal coins can surprise us with their strong demand and collector value. If you're hunting for a 1994 2-pence coin, pay close attention to the details. Look for coins with sharp edges, clear lettering, and minimal scratches. Always check both sides for full detail, as worn examples are less desirable. Storing coins in protective holders or albums is key to maintaining their condition. And if you happen to find a coin in exceptional shape, consider getting it professionally graded, as certification can significantly boost its resale value at auction. Finally, keep an eye on online marketplaces and auction houses, as demand for decimal-era coins continues to grow steadily among UK and international collectors. The United Kingdom's 2-pence coin from 1994 may seem like a small and ordinary piece of change, but in very fine condition, it becomes a sought-after collector's item with surprising market value in dollars. From its place in the history of decimal coinage to its enduring design and growing rarity in high grades, the 1994 2-pence proves that even modern coins can hold hidden treasures. Next up, we're diving into a coin that might look very ordinary at first glance. But in the world of numismatics, even common-looking pieces can surprise us with hidden value. We are talking about the United Kingdom 2-pence coin from 1998 in circulated condition. While millions of 2-pence coins were minted and used in everyday life, certain editions, years, and varieties have become highly collectible, and the 1998 coin is one of those issues that sparks curiosity among collectors. The 2-pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of Britain's decimalization of the currency system, replacing the old pre-decimal pennies and shillings. Originally, these coins were made of bronze, giving them a warm copper color, and they were intended to be a low-denomination coin for everyday spending. By the 1990s, however, changes in minting technology and coin production meant that some editions were produced in smaller quantities, while others had minor variations that now make them stand out. The 1998 2-pence belongs to this later series, continuing the tradition of small denomination coinage, but with a history that makes collectors pay attention. The 1998 United Kingdom 2 pence features the familiar badge of the Prince of Wales with its 3 ostrich feathers, rising from a coronet, along with the famous motto, Ich diene, which means, I serve. On the obverse side, you'll find the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley, which was introduced in 1998 and remained in use for many years. This makes the 1998 issue special, as it was the very first year this new portrait of the Queen appeared on the 2 pence coin, setting it apart from earlier designs. Collectors often look for these portrait transitions as they mark an important change in the history of UK coinage. While the 2 pence coins are not generally rare in terms of circulation numbers, coins from specific years such as 1998 gain attention due to their historical significance and collector demand. Many of these coins circulated heavily and were often overlooked, meaning that finding a well-preserved example today is not as easy as it might seem. The transition to the new portrait design adds further desirability, especially for those who collect by type or portrait series. Although not as rare as certain era coins, the 1998 2 pence in circulated condition still holds value above face for collectors who appreciate its place in the decimal series. In terms of market value, a standard 1998 2 pence in average circulated condition might only bring in a few dollars, usually between $15,000, depending on overall wear and appearance. However, higher-grade circulated coins that still retain good details and luster can reach $20,000 in auctions or online marketplaces. Exceptional examples, particularly those graded or well-preserved, can fetch even higher amounts, especially if sold to specialist collectors. It's worth noting that rare varieties, such as error strikes from this year, can command significantly larger sums if authenticated by grading companies. If you're hoping to add the 1998 2 pence coin to your collection, always pay close attention to condition. Circulated examples with heavy wear are common, but coins with sharp details and less discoloration will always attract more buyer interest. Also, keep an eye out for minting errors such as off-center strikes, double die features, or unusual surface flaws, as these can drastically increase the value of an otherwise ordinary coin. Another useful tip is to build sets of 2 pence coins across the years, including different portraits of Queen Elizabeth II, as complete type collections often sell for higher amounts than individual coins. The 1998 2 pence coin of the United Kingdom may not seem like a rare treasure at first glance, but its historical context, connection to the new portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and growing collector demand give it more value than just 2 pence. In circulated condition, it can sell for a modest but worthwhile amount, and with the right eye for quality and variety, it could become a meaningful addition to your collection. Next up, we will be looking closely at the United Kingdom 2 pence coin from the year 1987, specifically in very fine condition. While the 2 pence may seem like a humble coin that most people have seen in change, some editions, including the 1987 piece, can hold special value for collectors when preserved in high grade. We'll explore its history, unique design, and rarity, along with how much this coin can fetch at auction in US dollars. The 2 pence coin was first introduced in 1971 during the decimalization of British currency, when the United Kingdom moved away from the old system of pounds, shillings, and pence. The 2 pence coin was struck in bronze until 1992 and was part of the everyday currency system. By 1987, these coins were produced in large numbers for circulation, but the exact mintage of this year still carries interest among collectors. Though not an especially low mintage coin, examples from the 1980s have gained value when preserved in better grades, especially because most circulated heavily and suffered significant wear. The 1987 2 pence features the third definitive portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Raphael Maklouf. This elegant portrait shows the Queen wearing the George IV state diadem, with fine detailing in her hair and crown. On the reverse, the coin bears the famous badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers encircled by a coronet, with the German motto, Ich diene, which means, I serve. Struck in bronze, the coin measures 25.9 millimeters in diameter and weighs 7.12 grams. Its reddish-brown color, when preserved well, makes it a striking piece in a collection. At first glance, one might think that a 1987 2-pence coin is common and easy to find. However, rarity comes not only from mintage numbers, but also from condition. Most of these coins from the 1980s saw heavy circulation, so finding one in very fine condition or higher is becoming increasingly challenging. Collectors especially value examples with sharp detail, minimal wear, and original luster. Demand has also grown because many collectors today are building complete date sets of UK decimal coins, and pristine examples of earlier dates are harder to come by than one might think. Now, let's talk about the market value. A standard 1987 2-pence in worn condition might only be worth its face value. However, in very fine condition, collectors are willing to pay a premium. Prices at auction can range anywhere from $15,000, depending on eye appeal and preservation. For coins graded higher, such as extremely fine or uncirculated, values can rise into the $18,600 range, particularly if certified by a grading service. While it may not be the rarest coin in UK numismatics, its steady demand and upward movement in the collector market make it a smart addition for those who specialize in decimal issues. If you are looking to add a 1987 2-pence to your collection, condition is everything. Always handle coins by the edges to avoid fingerprints, and consider storing them in acid-free coin flips or capsules to prevent further wear. When purchasing, look out for coins with full details on the Queen's portrait and the Prince of Wales badge. If possible, invest in graded examples, as these are easier to sell at higher premiums. Also, keep an eye on upcoming auctions, where these coins occasionally appear and can sometimes be purchased for less than their long-term market potential. The United Kingdom 2-pence 1987 in very fine condition may seem like an ordinary coin at first, but under the collector's eye, it reveals its rarity and value. With its elegant design, growing demand, and potential to sell for significantly more than face value at auction, it stands out as a smart piece to hold in any UK decimal coin collection. Whether you are just beginning your numismatic journey or already a seasoned collector, this humble 2-pence coin is proof that even the smallest denomination can hold big historical and financial significance. Next up, we're diving into the world of British decimal coinage, focusing on a piece that often goes unnoticed but holds surprising value for collectors. The United Kingdom 2-pence coin from 1991 in extra fine condition. While most people think of the 2-pence as just everyday change, certain editions of this coin are highly desirable in the numismatic market. We'll explore its history, features, rarity, and the big money it can fetch at auction. The 2-pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of the decimalization of British currency. For the first several years, these coins carried the inscription New Pence on the reverse. However, starting in 1982, this inscription was replaced with 2 pence. By 1991, the Royal Mint had been issuing the 2-pence coin for 2 decades, and millions were in circulation. But what makes 1991 stand out is not its sheer mintage, but the fact that coins from this year in exceptional condition, such as extra fine, are now sought after by collectors, especially as earlier decimal coins become increasingly scarce in pristine states. The 1991 2-pence coin is made of bronze, with a weight of 7.12 grams and a diameter of 25.9 millimeters. On the obverse, it features the third portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Raphael Maklauf, showcasing a more detailed and regal image of the monarch wearing the royal diadem. The reverse side carries the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers within a coronet, above the motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve. These design elements not only reflect Britain's history, but also give the coin its timeless appeal. Although millions of 2-pence coins were minted in 1991, the key factor driving rarity lies in condition. Most of these coins circulated heavily, picking up scratches, tarnish, and wear. Finding an example in extra fine or better condition is significantly harder than it may seem, since very few people saved ordinary copper coins from circulation in the early 1990s. Collectors now realize that building complete decimal coin sets requires high-grade pieces, making coins like the 1991 2-pence a must-have. As demand grows for premium condition decimals, the value of this coin continues to rise. So, what is the 1991 2-pence in extra fine condition actually worth? While circulated examples may only be worth face value, In the auction market, coins in extra fine or uncirculated grades can sell for $25,000 depending on demand and the sharpness of detail. In some cases, examples certified by grading companies have fetched even higher prices from specialist collectors. Compared to its tiny face value, this represents a massive jump, making it a small coin with a big financial punch. If you're hunting for a valuable 1991 2 pence, focus on condition. Look for coins with sharp detail in the Queen's portrait, minimal scratches, and full luster on the surfaces. Consider purchasing coins already graded by professional services for added assurance. Also, keep an eye out for full sets of decimal coins, as high-grade 1991 2 pences included in these sets often retain superior quality. Lastly, store your coins in protective holders to preserve their condition for the long term. The 1991 United Kingdom 2 pence coin in extra fine condition proves that even the smallest and most common-looking coins can surprise us with rarity and value. From its rich design to its growing collector demand, this coin is a reminder to always check your change carefully. You never know when a coin worth a few cents could actually fetch tens of dollars at auction. Next up, we are diving into the fascinating world of United Kingdom decimal coinage, focusing on a special piece that many of us have handled without realizing its hidden value. The 1992 United Kingdom 2 pence coin. While it may seem like just a common copper-plated coin, certain details and conditions can transform this everyday piece of change into a rare collectible worth big money at auction. We will uncover its history, its unique features, why collectors are hunting for it, and of course, its impressive value in today's market. The 2 pence coin was first introduced in 1971 as part of Britain's decimalisation, when the old shilling and penny system was replaced. Originally, these coins were made of bronze, giving them a heavier, reddish appearance. But in 1992, an important transition took place. The Royal Mint shifted the composition from bronze to copper-plated steel due to rising production costs. This makes the year 1992 a turning point in the history of the 2 pence coin. Collectors pay close attention to coins from this period, as they represent the end of one era and the beginning of another in UK coinage. The 1992 2 pence coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II on the obverse, designed by Raphael Maklauf, which was used from 1985 until 1997. On the reverse, it carries the famous badge of the Prince of Wales, a plume of 3 ostrich feathers emerging from a coronet, along with the motto, Ich diene, meaning I serve. But what makes 1992 so intriguing is not only the change in metal composition, but also the fact that both bronze and copper-plated steel versions exist from this year. This small detail makes 1992 dated 2 pence coins highly desirable for collectors who want both versions in their sets. While millions of 2 pence coins were produced in 1992, very few bronze pieces slipped through during the transition to copper-plated steel. These surviving bronze examples are now considered rare, especially in high grades, such as very fine condition. Collectors hunt for them because they represent one of the most important transitional errors in modern UK coinage. The demand for these coins is strong because they are not just old currency. They are a snapshot of Britain's minting history, a true treasure for numismatists. Now, let's talk about what everyone wants to know: how much can a 1992 2 pence coin in very fine condition fetch in today's market? A standard 1992 copper-plated steel 2 pence in circulated condition will only be worth its face value. However, the bronze version, especially in very fine or better condition, has been known to sell at auction for anywhere between $5,800, depending on the coin's eye appeal and rarity. Exceptional specimens in near uncirculated or uncirculated grades can command even higher prices, sometimes crossing the $18,000 mark when collectors compete fiercely. This shows just how important condition and scarcity are when it comes to coin values. If you're a coin collector or someone just starting out, here are a few tips to help you with the 1992 2 pence coin. First, check the weight and magnetic properties. Bronze coins are non-magnetic and weigh slightly more, while copper-plated steel coins are magnetic. This is the quickest way to identify a rare bronze version. Second, always preserve the coin carefully. Avoid cleaning it, as this can damage its surface and reduce its value significantly. Finally, keep an eye on reputable coin auctions and numismatic forums. These are the best places to both buy and sell rare 2-pence coins safely. The 1992 United Kingdom 2-pence coin may look ordinary at first glance, but hidden within this small piece of change is a fascinating story of transition and rarity. The bronze version of this coin, in very fine condition, is a prized treasure among collectors and can command hundreds, even thousands of dollars at auction. So next time you come across a 1992 2-pence, don't dismiss it. It might just be a rare gem waiting to be discovered. Thank you for joining me today, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of rare and valuable coins and happy collecting.